Blog Talk Radio. Well, good morning. Well, actually afternoon, and welcome to Read You Later, a fun, captivating show that discusses the best in art, entertainment, and literature. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I am doing a special midday segment. I have three women who are literally, and I mean literally and figuratively, setting the romance world on fire. You all who listen to the show on a regular basis, I surely appreciate you. I know a lot of you attend my events, so I'm familiar with you guys, and you call in and you respond to me and stuff on Facebook. And every year I ask the question, who are you reading? And so last year in my LCA, my Lights, Camera, Action, a lot of people kept saying these names over and over again. I was like, oh, yeah, I've downloaded a couple of their books, but, my TBL pile is bananas. And, of course, people send me books for reviews and for interview purposes and thus forth, and for my book club and for my events. And so, Midnight and Erica George kept saying these names. I was like, okay, I got them on my Kindle, so I'm going to actually get down and read one of these books. And, honey, I started reading these books. I was sharing with my one of my guests, my first guest, Bella, with. Honey, I started reading these books. I had to put myself on a literary diet because, honey, I was clicking. And, I'm an employee of the state. I'm an educator, get paid once a month. And my husband's like, you better start clicking on books so you got to make that check last. But I am so excited to have these three women on my show today because they are bringing the heat and the fire to this genre. I love their style. I love their wit. I love their sass. And I love the way their characters interact. And, honey, I feel like I'm just talking to my girls down the street. So without further ado, I would like to welcome my first guest, Bailey West. Bailey, welcome to Read You Later.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
And, I was talking to her prior to the show, and I said, girl, I'm telling you all this stuff, and I need to be saying this in an interview. And I know my switchboard is lit up like a Christmas tree, and if you can inbox me questions, I will surely try to ask these ladies some of the questions. I have 45 minutes basically to talk to them, so I want to try to get to each and every question and also be cognizant of their time as well. But, Bailey, I was sharing with her that I love the way that you are able to integrate your faith with your books, but still keep that sweet and that spicy heat. So I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think that you are creating a new genre when it comes to romance? Because it's not sweet romance. It's not Christian fiction, but you have elements of suspenseful romance, sweet romance, Christian fiction, along with that little something, something. So do you feel that you are helping to create a new genre for romance?
Well, I don't know. I would say no, I'm not. I think that I'm just bringing it to a different platform. I think a lot of it has kind of been out there, but I'm glad that you said that, and it's such a compliment to me because one of my biggest fears with releasing my first book, Blues Beauty, was really merging the two, my faith with romance, because I always felt like, because I'm a church kid, grew up in church, daddy was a preacher, and so I always felt like that was something that I just couldn't do at the same time. So I released Blues Beauty with trembling fingers, didn't tell anybody I was really doing it, and just kind of put it out there because I was so afraid. And I gave myself a pen name because I was afraid that, it was just not going to
like the backlash.
Yes, ma'am, the backlash. Because, growing up in church is kind of what you were taught,
Girl,
what I was taught anyway.
Yes, honey, I understand. I understand.
Yes.
Yes. And
but creating a new genre would be amazing. I would love to see more people, do it this way too. So Yes.
And I'm thinking, as we speak, Eva J. Brock, which I said it prior to the show, she has her Soulmate series, which deals with spirituality and angels thus on earth, but they're mating. And then I think Letitia Lovely, Sex for the Sanctuary, and Love Like Hallelujah. But you're able to incorporate, like Miss Eva, a lot of scriptures, and also bring that sensuality. And as a Christian, as a church person, like I read a whole lot of stuff. And I was sharing with her. I probably should share a Christina segment, but I was moderating a portion of the CBLR, the Christian Book Love Retreat, and Christina's book came out. And I was like, oh, my gosh. And then my roommate and I, we both read everything. And I was like, girl, Christina C.Jones had a book come out. Girl, I got to get this. And she was like, well, we're going to go out to dinner. Da-da-da. I said, honey, I'm going to download this book and go out on the deck because it was at Myrtle Beach. And I'm going to go out and read. Mm-hmm. So after I got so busy, couldn't moderating and people asking questions. And she was like, I already started. I was like, you cheating on us? And people were at the Christian Book Club too, like, who you are reading? And we were telling them, I was like, honey, this is not Christian fiction, but it will get your soul right. And I think that, we are all types of people, and we are not static. We are dynamic people. So I think that we do ourselves a disservice when we try to put ourselves in one. And I'm not saying that's all you want to read. I don't have anything against it. But I think that as a dynamic people, we should be allowed and have choices to read what we want to read or write what we like to write without having that judgmental factor or sector involved. So how were you able to break free from that in your own mind?
I think that it's a continual struggle for me to break free from it, but I just have to trust God's plan for my life. And that's really what I have to do every time I finish a book. And every time going through a book, I feel like I'm struggling trying to write it because of that. But then when I'm finished with it, I just have to take a minute and I dedicate it back to God. And you'll see that at the end of every book. But I give it back to him. You gave this to me. You gave me this gift. I'm giving this back to you. Be pleased with it. Let it prosper. Let it do what it's supposed to do. And if it just touch one person, then that's okay. That's fine. That's what I needed to do. That's what you called me to do. So I just give it back to him, and I I just say, this is yours. I'm giving it to you, and be pleased with my sacrifice. And that's kind of how I handle it.
Well, one of my favorites about you, and we're going to go to your current book as well, but Ezekiel's Passion. I love the fact that you dealt with so many messages, the message of forgiveness, the message of going on, the message of being true to thyself, the message of harboring regret and guilt and being free. That book was so full of messages that when I was preparing for this interview and I went and did my rereads, and that book just really touched me once again. I felt like I had read it for the first time because the messages were so crisp and so clear. When you are preparing, I don't know if you're a plotter or a pantser, but when you are preparing for this journey or to write, are there messages that you want to impart to your readers, or do the messages just appear as you begin to write?
It's twofold. So I'm a pantser. I'm really bad at plotting, and if I will plot, I'll completely go off task. So I'm not good at that. I've tried it and it doesn't work for me. But and so I won't even write my books. My books are not even written in chronological order. So sometimes I can start the beginning and then skip all the way to the end, write middle pieces, and so I have to put it all together in the end. So the messages come as the characters evolve. And to be honest, a lot of the times, you know how you hear people say that the message is for the messenger first, that's always the case. Like, I'm always ministered to first, and if it can hit me, then I know that it can hit somebody else, because,
Exactly.
Moving forward, forgiving, making sure that we are not staying in a place of stagnation, all of those things, are God-breathed in that moment. Those are Logos words for that moment. And so my prayer that, like you said, it becomes crisp because it's the breath of God, it's the word of God, that he's speaking in that moment to the person that's reading that book. So that's why, I wait and I don't really plot it out, especially the messages that I'm going to put in. I just kind of let the characters evolve. And so that word is for the character, but it's also for the author, and then it's preferably for the reader as well.
Oh, wow. So how can people connect with you on social media, or if they would like to write you, tell you about how wonderful your books are, or perhaps invite you to be a part of an activity, an event, or their book club? What is the best way for people to connect with you on social media?
Okay, so on Facebook, I am Bailey West. I have a group, Bailey's Coterie. You can find that in the groups and click and join us, and I share information there. I'm on Instagram at Author Bailey West, and my website is bailey-west.com. So you can reach me on all those platforms.
Now, let's talk about your latest book. Can you give my listeners an overview of what to expect in your latest project?
So my first 3 books were kids growing up in church and, adults that were children in church and grew up, and so they had a pretty strong spiritual base. My latest work, Serving Time and Free Indeed, which is a 2-part series. This Serving Time is a cliffhanger, and then Free Indeed is the conclusion. My character finds himself in a situation where early on in his teenage years where he is accused of a crime, and then he is serving time for a crime that he didn't commit. And so we follow his journey from that point to finding love and falling in love and things of that nature. But for me, it was a little different because it was a departure from what I did before, but it was still fun to write in that. It kind of gave me the ability to kind of spread my wings some more and do something a little different. Samuel Valentine is my male character, and he was challenged to write initially, but he is one of my most favorite guys that I've written. I love all the guys that I've written, but Samuel just added a different flair to the men that I've written in the past.
Yeah, he wasn't, as people would say, he wasn't as churched as a good man and things that nature. He had found himself, which we all do, but he may dig a little deeper. He'd dig a little deeper and make it a little harder. Dig behind a little harder.
Definitely did.
We're going to find something. We are most definitely going to find something. So where can my listeners tune in to find you next? What's next on your radar, your writing projects, your events? How can they find you, meet you, and grab a copy of one of these books?
Well, all of them are available on Amazon. For next year, right now, June 22nd, I'll be at the Indie Love book event. And then in August, I'll be at a wonderful event, Lights, Camera, Action. And I'm so excited about that. So that's what I have planned for next year. So I hope to see everybody come to the table, say hi, give hugs, take pictures, buy books, and let's connect.
I know that's right. Plus, they buy books. And look, this is 'tis the season, honey, so keep on buying and sharing. Give someone this collection of books. They will not be disappointed, and you will get a lot of kudos and handshakes because your books are awesome. I love the way that they're able to captivate you on all fronts, and you have characters that stick with me after I've placed the book down. So you're
amazing.
Doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I've enjoyed this immensely, and I can't wait to actually meet you in person, and and perhaps maybe invite you on our little virtual book club meetings. But I appreciate you, and thank you. Thank you for coming on. Read you later, and I look forward to reading you even more.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
Next on our agenda, we have a young lady who does not need any introduction. Honey, her book is fire. She is able to captivate her audience and bring them. So I welcome to Read You Later, Love Belvin. Welcome to Read You Later.
Hello.
Hello? Hi, can you hear me?
Hey. Now,
hey.
Perfect. Hi.
I was like, girl, I was like,
thank you very much.
I was like, girl, we got
so I'm here.
I was like, honey, we got to turn that in the background.
I've been here. Shout out to Bailey West, Mr. Bailey West. Thank you so much for having me, Ms. Sarah.
Oh, let me tell you, I told her, I was sharing with her, and you may not have heard this, but, every year at my events, I always ask everybody, what you reading? And, your name came up. I was like, oh, I have a book by her. And then I kept going, and I kept downloading. I was like, wait a minute now, sister girl. I was like, wait a minute, I have to pay my light bills. I want to stop all this foolishness here.
I get it. We're book lovers, we're bookworms, so I can definitely understand the struggle.
Yeah, it's real. I know every year when I have my events, I have all this stuff at the house, and my husband, he'll say, when you read, don't you bring in that stuff back, but he doesn't use those exact words. He's a little bit more descriptive. He said, you give all that stuff away, so every year it's a standing joke. Everybody say, Jimmy said, don't you bring that back. And honey, he is serious about that.
I get
but
it.
He knows,
just
like some people have that addiction. Books are mine. But honey, let's talk about this latest book, which I don't know. I don't know. I think I read it like a whirlwind rate. And my thing was, I'm gonna read a little today. And then I'm going to read a little tomorrow. But, girl, guess what? It did not happen like that. He who is a friend.
Girl, yeah.
Girl,
my latest obsession.
Put your pen in it. Did you put your pen in it or what?
Thank you so much.
Goodness.
I appreciate it.
Honey, that book caught me from the left to the right and kept on hitting me. So can you give my listeners who perhaps, and you have like 253 reviews, and this book is not even a month old. So evidently I was not the only one that was captivated by this force. And it wasn't a book, it was a force. And look, you know what, I wanted to inbox you and said, but I know you can't write that fast. You're not going to have book 2 out by New Year's Eve, are you? But, I was like, sure, the girl can't do that fast. I was like, perhaps she's written both of them, and she wanted to keep us, anticipating, like Heinz 57.
Like a surprise.
Yeah.
I wish my publishing partner would love that to happen one day, but the closest we've come to it was Wayward Love, and I wasn't quite on the mark for him, but I'll get there one day.
Okay. Well, look, we'll keep waiting, and we're going to read. So can you give my listeners who perhaps are not familiar with the book a brief overview of the book?
So He Who Is a Friend is about a client of mine called Sadiq. The series is called Sadiq. It'll be a 3-book series. And Sadiq is a conflicted man. He grew up in a tight family unit, an awkward family unit, but, this is a strong black family who believes in sticking together, who believes in achieving things together as a family, protecting each other, loving each other, spending time with each other.
At all costs.
The conflict at all costs. The conflict comes in. Sadiq is of 3 children. He's the middle child of 3 children, and his father is the biggest drug lord in the state of New Jersey. But Sadiq himself is, while he, DNA, you can't change DNA. He's definitely his father's son, but he doesn't have the same interest as his father in terms of industries. He's a legitimate man. He's between 3 industries. He's not in the illegal world at all. However, Sadiq definitely has some spots on him because his father understands that his son's brain is bright as they come. And he wants his son to take over. His father's age, and he wants his son to take over. Sadiq does not want to take over. Sadiq is almost 40 years old. He's established in the industries he's in. So Sadiq finds himself for the first time falling in love with a woman who is just totally not of his world at all. And it makes him more fight his father's will even more. But it's hard because he was taught to honor, he was taught to protect, he was taught to follow whatever lead, his parents set for him. His father was able to afford him a wonderful education. He went to Blakewood University. He has a master's degree. He was able to travel the world on his father's dime, and his father allowed him to do it. So in this series, we're going to see a conflict of him being honorable to his father and being obedient to his father, and him also having to put his foot down and kind of step away. So he's in doing that, we're folding in his new love, who absolutely knows nothing about that life and wants nothing about the life.
Exactly.
Nothing to do with that life.
And I love the fact that in the book, not to go away so much, but everyone keeps painting her as a dynamic situation, a person, because she's innocent, but she's wise. She's naive, yet instead she's very she has elements of this discernment. And I love the fact that you're able to give her so many attributes, and it keep us as readers thinking, girl, are you going to get this? Or are you overlooking this? And because she's yearning for a connection, but yet instead she still has those walls. So she's an oxymoron totally in the book, So you don't really know at times, okay, are you going to go left or are you going to go right? And it keeps me as a reader, as I was saying, like to Bailey. I think that you three are probably in your style and what you bring to the table. Your books are constantly, and your characters are constantly evolving. And even within the story, they evolve. You don't have static characters. And I never know which way the pendulum is going to swing. Like, girl, don't sleep on Love Belvin book, honey, because you think you know how it's going to end.
Yeah,
girl,
because there's a lot going on with Belvin there's a lot going on with Belvin that we didn't uncover in book one. There's just, loaded. And I always tell people, because I'm always criticized for having layered characters and the inks and, having characters that are not perfect. Yeah, and that's just really what I like to do. I like to write about real people. I don't do sweet romances. I don't do quick romances. I like to dig in there.
We are far from perfect. Look, we are far from perfect ourselves. And I feel like these characters are people like that I can connect with, talk to, shoot the breeze with, play some cards, drink some Moscato with, and just have real conversation. They're not pretentious. They're not fake. They are just like, girl, child boo, because that's me all day, child boo. And I feel like your characters are there, just child boo, people who can take you there and stuff. Now, how have your do you feel that this book may be a little, it may be a more of a departure from your, and I can't call you your book usual, but from your theme book?
I think it is. I think it is a slight departure. I think we're doing more suspense here. It's a little more gory here. We're talking about more murder than I've ever talked about in previous books. My first series, I alluded to my main character as me. I alluded to his dark side, but I really did not want to mess up the romance. So I didn't get into exactly what he had to do in order to be a drug kingpin. Well, in the Sadiq series, I'm talking about what needs to be done in order to be at the top of the food chain in this dark world. So it's definitely more, and even I'm challenging myself even as a therapist or as the recorder. Like, I'm challenging myself to be open about, what this is and to say, like, Sadiq has a very dark side. To kill someone, you have to kill someone to be able to sleep at night after night after night after night. There's something going on with you. So there's a lot we still have to uncover about them. So I think it is a slight departure. I really, really do. We're still going to stay with the romance of it because that's the primary story. That's my goal, to get these two to live together, to have a sustainable, flourishing love, that's going to last. So.
Hey, you know what? I've attended, I've held events, attended events and things of that nature, and I've had the opportunity to attend RRT before they close, or attend other events that are not primarily African American events. And sometimes those events, there's not enough for us to make chocolate milk. You can stir all day and the milk still come up white with the full of a few of us are there. And they're not placed in a pigeonhole. We know where we're at. Our books are urban books, but they have urban books too, and their books are not necessarily deemed urban because of a certain thing. It may be because of the time or steampunk or things of that nature, and people buy books. Yeah. And I just think it's a shame that as African American readers and authors, we are placed in categories. So and you have to be over here and be over there. What they surely have genres and subgenres, but honey, they are all together when it counts. Yeah. And I think that once we can get like that, and not for us, but the people who view us or the people who place us in these platforms and categories get that out of their mind. I think that it will help push us as a whole.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective. Because you're right, we are we're in different categories. I mean, I think sometimes it's subjective, and I think sometimes it's just a matter of principle. Because I even say with this, I don't consider myself as an urban writer, but there's just about all of my projects is an urban element. It doesn't override the story, but it's certainly there because I write about what I know. So it's definitely there, but yeah, we do need to figure out how is it that we can. I mean, you want your work to be easily recognizable for those who don't know you. You want them to know what you're going to get, no surprises. But it'll just be interesting to see how can we better, I guess, categorize ourselves, or is it even necessary?
Yes, exactly. Or I almost say on the point, I've changed my philosophy of this over time. Because they used to go Barnes Noble and BAM, and there was a BAM really, and you would see the African American section. And I think sometimes necessary because people can't find you otherwise if you just stuck in there. Yeah. But other people review everything as urban. And I was thinking after I read your book, some people review this as urban, but I wouldn't. And then I thought about what is urban, because when you go to these other events, and they have urban writers that don't look like us. Girl, stuff ain't urban. Right. And they have steampunk, and they have all these subgenres. And I think that, a lot of times all our books are just clunked into one. If you black, honey, you urban. I'd be like, child, boo, that is not urban.
Yeah. They do it dirty in the bookstore. I hate the way we're categorized in the bookstore. And my publishing partner, he always, or as of late, recently, he challenged me to think about it, like think about the whole pie. And how we're such a small part of the pie. And I get it. He said he has a corporate mind. But at the same time, this is my passion. This is my industry. I don't want to be clunked, and I don't want to be miscategorized. And I shouldn't be. Each Barnes & Noble I go into, you really have to find where the African-American art is.
Exactly.
We're definitely not by our Caucasian counterparts. If we're there at all, absolutely. And it's really, it does get frustrating. Yeah.
But honey, let me tell you something. Your book's so good, girl. You ain't got to worry about it. You're gonna bust through every feeling.
I appreciate that.
So
I appreciate that. I received that too.
Girl, you better. And how can people connect with you on social media?
So I'm everywhere. I'm just about everywhere. I'm on Twitter. I stuck on Twitter, but I'm still there every day. I'm on Facebook, authored Love Belvin. I'm on IG. I love IG. I wild out on IG. I don't know why, but Love Belvin. I was on Snapchat. Snapchat, I'm pretty much a reserved person. Don't take pictures and stuff like that. And Snapchat is so live. I'm not a live person. So I'm not on Snapchat anymore, but I'm definitely on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Love Belvin.
All right. And I know that you will be at Indie Loves in June, but are there any other events that you will be attending? Or
no, I'm not doing any events this year. I won't be at any events. I'm gonna miss my Indie Love family. I'm gonna miss my Girl Have You Met family, my Behind the Pen family. Although there won't be a Behind the Pen in 2019, but I won't. I have some personal things going on in my life, celebrated, and so I want to focus on those things. So, and I felt like maybe everyone is sick of seeing me over the past 2 years too. So my team is just like, okay, we get off a year, and I was like, and they're like, good. So no, I'll be home in 2019.
There's nothing wrong with that. So look, there's nothing wrong with home. It's where the heart is, and where your creative juices will be flowing. Well, I most definitely appreciate.
Will be working.
Yes, I believe you, and I most definitely appreciate you coming on. I have thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. I am a huge fan of your work, and My hope is that you keep prospering and be blessed for 2019.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share.
All right. You have a great day.
You too.
All right. Now, honey, we have, let me tell you something. This chick right here, when I read Christina C.Jones' book, I believe that she is talking my lane because I am I love to be inspirational and I love the Lord. But, if you're ever at my house and we are drinking Moscato or some sangria or something, you're going to get some blank, what? I know that, da-da-da-da. And what, child boo? Anyone knows me I'm like that, and I love to cut up. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, Christina Jones and her character and I, we could actually hang. Most of us can hang. Now, some of them I don't know, but majority, I would say 90% of us can hang. So I am pleased to have this hot chick on my show today.
Are you calling me a bad influence, LaShera?
No. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Look, I could be the one. Girl. So I am so happy to have you on here. And I was sharing earlier. I know you heard I was talking to Baby West. I was moderating the Christian Fiction Retreat. I was moderating some panel at the Christian Fiction Retreat. And I don't know who shared it. I think it was Baby West. Someone shared that you had a book coming out. It was October. And I was like, oh, my God, I told my roommate, Christina C.Jones, her book come out. And look, I was like, oh, I got to moderate in so many hours. And I was like, I got to get this book in. And I'm like, nah, I got to get my soul right. I'm supposed to be moderating the Christian Political Retreat. So, I'm trying to read, Christian fiction, meditating on the goodness of the Lord and all that stuff. But, girl, your book was on my Kindle, and the thing kept, looking at me. I said, I got to wait and stop doing moderation stuff.
Hey, sometimes we just got to work it out.
Yeah, I got to work that thing out. And so then, we get to the banquet, and I was like, well, I'm going to read Christina C.Jones. He said, I already started. I said, wait a minute. I want to tell you this book came out. I said, so you're the cheating on us? And everybody at the table fell out laughing. And it's like, who is she? I was like, honey, she is not Christian fiction, but she will get your soul right when you start laughing. So I was going to let you know, honey, I would refer to you at the Christian Book Love Retreat. Somebody said, I'm going to look that up. I said, girl, look up. I said, honey, it's ministry for your marriage. You got to do what you got to do. But, honey.
Hey, I'll take that. I'll absolutely take that.
I know that's right. But, girl, I love your characters. I love the way that they are unapologetically who they are. Your characters do not fit any molds. They don't really fit, perhaps, your usual romance formula at all. Some of them are just boss chicks to the 9th degree. and that's
really, really important to me.
Yes. And how did you set about creating these characters that somewhat challenge more of your traditional heroines in romance?
I did something that when I kind of first started reading romance, and even now still sometimes when I read traditional romance, there's just kind of this thing with the heroines where they're very, they're typically very repressed, very proper sometimes, very much people pleasers, different things like that, and that's not really who I am as a woman, and that's not really most of the women that I know. I mean, that's not to say that we're just out here being terrors, but most of the women that I know, we're kind of naturally, we're givers. We try to be kind, but I wanted to see women who looked more like the women that I knew and the women that I looked up to, the women that I'm friends with. I wanted to see more of that. And for me, when I'm writing, these women, they're not just characters. They're very much real people to me. And so I try to let them develop on their own. I don't try to tug them into any certain mold. I just kind of let it flow. And it seems to work well for me.
It does. And, I love the way you intro your books. It could be, like the sister sitting in the coffee shop and brother coming to her acting stupid, like, what do you think about this? It could be somebody in the barbershop and somebody coming in and, trying to take pictures, and she's looking at him like, boy, you don't even want any of this. I love all that because that is so real. It's not like, and yes, he falls in love, and she comes in and says, girl, you are just like so real. Just like, I feel like if I had to equate your book to music, it would be something like a cross between Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, India Ari, and Music Soul Child. Throw in with a little
that's
Kendrick.
a high compliment.
Girl, you better shut the book. And, every time, like, I read it, I feel like that neo soul vibe. And, look, we're going to go old school and throw in some Betty Wright. Girl, those are your books. Those are your books. And you encompass all that, and it's just like a ball of fire. I mean, I think I inboxed you. I was looking for the character. Like, I forgot what character it was. I was like, are there going to be another book you like that? That was it. And I was like, that was it. I was like,
I think
oh,
it
my
was
God.
the Drake siblings.
Look, I was thinking to myself, I don't have to write my own ending. Just to give me something to go on. But,
hey, we can get some fan fiction going now. That's actually kind of where I got my start writing. Was writing fan fiction for B2K of all of all things. I kind of got my start writing fan fiction for B2K. I was young. I was a teenager. And I just like that. I love making up these crazy stories, and then I just that was kind of how I first developed myself as a writer because in terms of writing for more of mass consumption, because when I was younger, like in high school, I would write down stories in notebooks and pass them around to my friends to read. But that's such a small scale. But then later on, you're writing and you're putting it on the internet for who knows who sees it once you've put it on the internet. Once it's out there, it's just out there. And the format of that was you write it and you put a chapter up, and then you just kind of put a chapter up as you go. And you'll have people coming in like, oh, man, I can't wait to see what happens next. And so that was kind of where I got started writing. So I'm a fan of fan fiction.
Oh, girl, look, girl, don't get me started. Now, I know you got the news of Christmas with the rights to give us like a little catch me up. And I know you and Love Belvin do some things together, but I'm going to tell you, I think Love Notes and Auntie Up, and I had a friend, I'll call her out, but we were here at my house. Sometimes I have these little lunches. Actually, I have one Saturday, which I may invite several people that kind of like touch me, and I don't want to tell them what we're going to do because some of them listen, I think. We're going to do little activities, and we act crazy and stuff, and we have one Saturday and stuff. And she's an author. And she told me after reading your book, she had to smoke a cigarette. I think it was Auntie Up, and we were laughing at that laugh.
That sounds right for Auntie Up. That sounds accurate.
And she don't smoke, so we were laughing. But a couple of my book club members were here too, and they was like, "But sure, you ain't talking about going." I was like, "Girl," I said, "Girl, child, I just downloaded." But it was so funny because I was like, "Girl," I was like, "Yeah," I was like that on such book. After I think Erykah, I see somebody from 757. I don't know if that's Erykah George. She may not want to come in, but her Midnight, I credit them for introducing last year. They kept talking about your books, and I was like, "Okay, I downloaded. I just haven't had a chance to read them." And I started reading your book, and they were Love Belvin. And I was like, oh my gosh, girls, bump me in the head. Where have I been? And I like the way that you are challenging like the status quo. And I think it allows people to realize that they can be who they are and still be true to the craft, but true to what they want to be. So how has the feedback, which I can imagine because I read your reviews, but how has the feedback been from more traditional readers, traditional romance readers?
Sometimes I will get a review from a reader who loves my more contemporary stuff, but then I'll put out like something that's like a murder mystery or something like that, and
And I appreciate it. It might be a 3-star review where they say, hey, I tried it out, but, I really don't like this genre, or this really isn't for me. And that's totally okay. That's totally okay. But for the most part, I actually get a lot of feedback from people who are actually excited, because sometimes I've maybe kind of put them onto a different genre that they may not have normally been interested in reading. Like, I know maybe 4 years ago, I put out a paranormal. I wrote a book called Haunted, which is it's a paranormal romance, and a lot of my readers at that time were like, "Girl, I'm not reading this scary stuff. Like, I'm not, I'm not into that." But there were a lot of people who gave it a chance because they were fans of me, as a writer. They were willing to give it a chance, and from there, they were able to discover something that they didn't even know that they liked, but just because they were willing to give it a chance, which is something that I cannot say how much I appreciate the fact that I have readers who are willing to, whatever I write. There's no guarantee that they're going to like it, and if they don't like it, they might tell me they don't like it, but they'll at least give it a chance, and they'll at least, kind of let me branch out and let me try something new without being so afraid that, okay, nobody's going to buy this, they're not going to support me, any of that. Like, I'm not going to say it's never on my mind, but when it is on my mind, it's something that I can usually pretty easily brush off, because these readers in this, especially in this indie romance community, these readers are, honest to God, so supportive. They're I want to say, I almost want to say that they're not hard to please, but that's not quite the sentiment that I'm going for. But what I mean is, they're willing to try some new things. They're willing to try other stuff, as long as it's dope. You don't have to jump through hoops to get them to read you. But if you're dope, and if they can see the potential, if you're coming into this and you're new, your first project, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if they can see the potential, they're gonna support you. And I appreciate that so much, because that's the type of thing that kind of puts a battery in your back and keeps you going.
Your writing is so dope, and your characters are so dope. Auntie.
I appreciate that.
I love Notes, and honey, I love them Wright brothers, and the daddy too. Honey, you can't forget Pop. And I love way you ended. I love the way you ended the Christmas story. When he saying that, I was laughing, so my husband was laughing. He was my husband was like, "What are you laughing about?" And so I told him I read that part how it ended. I don't want to give it away, but it was so comical on that note.
Well,
that is some real stuff.
I have to publicly give kudos to that, or credit for that, to Nicole Fox, because she's another good friend of mine. And I was saying, I wonder if I can just end this here, or if I need kind of an epilogue. And she was like, you should keep it going. We want to see, people are going to want to see Christmas Day, but plot twist, you should do it from Big Joe's point of view. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I should do it from Big Joe's point of view. So I have to probably give her credit for that, because she's the one who put that in my ear.
Look, when he cleared that house, he was like, when she made that
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, when she made that statement of what was on, or what, that was it, and that was hilarious. And I love that, because that is real talk. Okay, so what is next for you? What's your next series? What's your next project? And how can people find? I know you're going to be at Book for It with Anita, Cheryl, and Miss Eva, and all that crew. So tell us what's next for you, and how can people find you next year?
Okay, for next year, I'll be at 4 events next year. I'll be at Book Euphoria in Chicago. I'll be at Girl Have You Met in Memphis. I'll be at Indie Love in Atlanta, and I'll actually be at a National Black Book Festival in Houston, and that's going to be my last event for the year. That's going to be in October. And I'm all over the web. I'm all over the internet, all over social media. I'm at Being Mrs. Jones everywhere that I am on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, on my Facebook page. And as far as my next project, it's a pretty big departure from my usual stuff. It's something that has been on my heart for several years now, and I'm finally going on and taking the plunge. It's a post-apocalyptic fairy tale spin, like this kind of this one in particular, spin on Alice in Wonderland. My main character is Allie, and she kind of, I don't want to give too much away, but it's post-apocalyptic, but it's still a romance. There's a little bit of a thriller element. There's an adventure element. It's honestly a lot going on, but it's good stuff. I promise, it's good stuff.
Well, we know if it's coming from your pen, we know it's going to be good stuff. So, and I love the fact that all three of you all, Christina Bailey and Love Belvin, you all are fearless in your writing. I know that you are very fan-friendly, very reader-friendly, but you also forge your own route, so to speak, when you are writing. I don't get the feeling that you're trying to write for a particular audience, even genre. You just like, okay, I'm going to rock with this. Y'all going to rock with me? Come on. And I love that because I don't think that you're placing yourselves in boxes. And I love
Absolutely.
to see that because as a reader who reads, I'm an avid reader, and, anyone knows me, honey, I'm all about books. But sometimes you can tell when you feel that someone's been placed in a box. They don't have to tell you. I think the writing speaks for itself, and I feel like that you all just like, honey, you cannot. I am not going to be placed in a box, and I love that, and I feel that in your characters, and your characters forge their own battles, their own talk. I mean, you have everything from mafia princes to women to CEOs to the a murderer, and they all have that one theme in common. I can take care of myself, but I'm lovable, even though I may not appear to be lovable at first, and I want to love. And I love that.
Absolutely.
And your characters are totally dynamic, and I never know what to expect when I read one of your books, and I love that factor.
I'm so glad that it's appreciated because it could be a little scary sometimes, but when this is your passion, you have to just follow that. Like you said about, the boxes and all of that, you can't let anybody put your passion in a box. Like you got to just follow it, and whatever's supposed to be for you, it's going to be for you. Like no matter what God has decided is going to be for you, it's already
Amen.
Settled, and so you don't. It's nothing to worry about.
All
just
right
do
now.
it.
All right now. You gonna have me leaning against this counter doing a shout out to him. I'm gonna take one caller and then we're gonna go out the air. I have a caller from because they've been on a long time. A caller from 757-348. Caller from 757-348. You're on the air. Do you have a question or a comment?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi, it's LaJill. I didn't realize I was on the air. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Oh, my Lord. If it ain't the infamous LaJill. Oh, Lord.
Miss LaJill.
Okay. So,
First of all,
I was thinking, okay.
First of all, Christina Jones, girl. Get Schooled is one of my favorite, that book right there, girl.
I appreciate that so much.
Girl, you know what, though? I can't believe I'm on the air. I really just been, I didn't know. Okay, hey, y'all.
I'm supposed to call her. I'm supposed to call her when I get off the air. So I think, Christina, LaJill is making sure I'm going to call her.
But, okay, Christina, I love the book.
Like, while you're on the air, I just want to say I cannot pull the title of it to mind, but you have a book where the two characters they bump into each other, like she has a flat tire or something like that, and they end up working together. Oh, I cannot think of the title of it, but I read it.
Another sad love song.
Yes.
She talking about my book.
But I want you to I want you to know that book was one of the books that I read that was not like the other kind of cookie cutter you know, like you consider traditional romance and stuff like that. And that really, like, that was one of the books that really made me realize I don't have to do this certain way. I can, like, they can be black. Like, they can be, like, for real black. So, I just wanted to give you that little shout-out while you were on the line. I couldn't think of the name of the book.
That's one of LaShira talks to me about that book all the time.
I do.
It's so good. I did not pay her to say that. I had no idea you were going to call me.
Oh,
I just talked to her. I said, this is my favorite one.
I'm gonna have to reread that. I gotta get my Kindle.
But I tell you, get schooled, girl. The twist about
you can't get your words together.
And let me tell you, I almost threw my iPad when when what was revealed about him was revealed, and he still had her pinned against that wall. Baby, I wanted a child.
That was cigarette.
That's actually one of my favorite things I've ever written.
Yes. I was like, oh, first of all, when I found out what, like, that what happened to him had kind of happened, because that was like a surprise. Girl, when he pinned her against that wall, though, girl, I was like, let me go to the VA. Yeah.
That's the high shut. That's my one might say high shut. That's a high shut, mom. That's high shut. They ain't bro.
Yes.
That was high shut.
But
that's high shut.
That made me be like the ultimate fan. Like, I love you so very much. I love your family. I love when y'all went on the vacation. Like, I love you. I feel like you're my friend, for real.
Hey, we are friends as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. But I just want to because you got me back into reading with Getting Schooled, and I'm just like, I'm such a fan, and I'm so proud, and I love you, and you doing your damn thing. Like, seriously. Like,
that is such a high compliment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes. I know.
All right, legit. I'm gonna call you right after this interview. I'm gonna call you right after this interview.
Okay, I'm gonna
right.
Get out there. Okay. Y'all finish up.
Okay.
All right.
I know. I told her that that's like one of my, I like the drama queens also, but that book right there, and I had like 2 copies. And I maybe don't know what happened, but then I let someone borrow. I was in my early days. I was trying to be nice and stuff. I ain't that nice anymore.
Yeah, you can't
and they claimed they gave my book. Look, and they claimed they gave my book back to me, but girl, they didn't. And I'm like, are you serious? And it's out of print. And I'm like, oh my goodness! I love that story. I keep telling her this like when the best ever. This is the best story. It just haunts you, doesn't it? I just love it. Love it. Well, I am just so this midday show has been awesome. I am truly a fan of each of you, and I just wish and pray continued success in your future, honey. And you keep on with that beastly pen, and girl, you know we're gonna keep popping and one clicking.
All right, thank you so much.
And from my house to yours, and from my bookshelf to yours, I wish you all a prosperous and happy New Year. Read you later. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Bye.